bags and we'll take you around the world and back and inspire you to explore. So thrill seekers, you've scaled mountains, skied vertical slopes. You think you've done it all? Then stay tuned for Extreme Explore. What do you need to compete in Kenya's annual Rhino Charge off-road car rally? A car, $1,300 US, a few enthusiastic mates, and a certificate of mental instability. The aim is to drive the shortest distance between 13 checkpoints. Sounds simple enough? But the route, kept secret till the night before, is sadistically charted over East Africa's worst terrain. And why would you want to beat around the bush, scaring the hell out of the local wildlife? For conservation, of course. This year's Rhino Charge in Kenya will raise $400,000 US to help build a fence around the Aberdare rainforest. The Aberdare ecosystem is a precious water catchment and home to the endangered black rhino. The $5 million fence will help keep the rhinos in and the poachers out. The Kenyan Rhino Charge is brainless bush bashing at its best. Anyone can feel like a rally driver on Kenya's rough back roads, but having to take the shortest distance between the checkpoints means attacking the thick bush, the plummeting gullies and the boggy swamps head on. Teamwork is everything. You'll need expert mechanics, the finest navigators, and someone to hand you an ice cream when the going gets really tough. Why put yourself and your poor four-wheel drive through the ordeal? There was an estimated 20,000 black rhinos in Kenya in the 1970s. Now, there are around 400. It's the fencing of habitats, making poaching for rhino horn more difficult, that's helping the numbers rise again. Driving a straight line in the African bush is virtually impossible. Decisions have to be made fast and furiously. Should we go through the ravine or around it? Should we cruise the longer, smoother trail or save ourselves a few Ks by crashing like crazy people through the boulder field? You can be sure the most direct route is also the hardest on your car. These guys are taking off-road to brand new limits. They've already had 3 flat tyres and it's not even lunchtime. In Swahili, Harambee means all pull together. It's a term used by Kenyans for people getting involved in a worthy cause like the Rhino Charge. But in this case, it just means all pull together or we'll never get home. The Rhino Charge has become a sporting event in its own right, and competitors come from all over the world. This year, 52 teams competed for trophies, including the overall winner, the team that raised the most money, the best all-female team, and the biggest lunatic. No one was injured in this year's Rhino Charge, however pride took several falls and good sense fell repeatedly on deaf ears. The winning team managed the 45-kilometre course in an actual travel distance of 51 kilometres, straight as a rhino's charge. Some others were not quite so lucky. Kenya's Rhino Charge has been held annually for 8 years now, at the beginning of June. It takes place in bushland around 8 hours out of Nairobi, at a secret location, only revealed the night before the famous off-road rally. In life, human beings can be divided into 2 groups. The sensibly dressed, well-grounded, rational people seen here on the ski slope of an Austrian holiday resort, and this guy. The Austrian ski resort of Westendorf plays host to the annual Jump and Freeze event. The rules are self-explanatory. You jump, then you freeze. Over 150 contestants compete for the Best Dressed or Craziest Vehicle award. The judges are looking for originality and special effects. But the 9,000-strong audience just wants plenty of jump and lots of freeze. Iced coffee, anyone? Westendorf is situated on an open plateau in the wide Brixen Valley, about 15 kilometres from Kitzbühel. It's a family-friendly resort in one of 9 villages in the world's largest interconnected ski area, which has 250 kilometres of prepared runs and 93 lifts. Westendorf is usually a quaint, quiet little Tyrolean village. That is until the world converges here for the annual Jump and Freeze. This windmill is not so much being propelled by wind, it's being propelled by 3 screaming Dutchmen who just realise what the freeze part means as they hit the layer of ice forming over the near-freezing water. Ah, the Trojan horse, once a great military tactic and now just a soggy paper pony. Stages of hypothermia. 1. The body drops below its normal temperature. 2. Shivering, goosebumps, stumbling and mild confusion. 3. Losing muscle coordination, body turns blue and victim exhibits irrational behaviour. Prevention of hypothermia? Stay inside your ski lodge with a steaming mug of hot chocolate. Most vehicles are designed to collapse on contact, but these Vikings are actually Swiss engineers on a team-building weekend, and their ship is just too good for the competition. The judges here at Westendorf do not discriminate in any way. Here's an entrant from the farther reaches of outer space. Unidentified flying object? Undoubtedly freezing occupant. And the winners of this year's Jump and Freeze, 5 Tyrolean farmers from the mountain village of Schwendt. They were asked why they didn't take their vacation by the sea. No, they said, we'd rather build a small house, drive it down a dangerous slope and plunge with it into 300,000 litres of freezing water. If you'd like to join them, head to Westendorf Ski Resort, one of 9 villages in the world's largest interconnected ski area, in early February for this winter sports festival. Bring paper mache and pyrotechnics. Base jumping from the top of a towering skyscraper in the middle of a densely populated, high-developed city? Can't be legal, you say? It isn't. Not anywhere in the world, but here in beautiful Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This event is for thrill seekers prepared to face the ultimate, to push the limits of courage and skill, to take a wholehearted leap of faith into the unknown. From Kuala Lumpur's 452-metre high Petronas Twin Towers, 54 divers help bring in the new year in an exciting new annual event. By relaxing the regulations against base jumping over the New Year week-long celebrations, city authorities have certainly helped put Malaysia on the world map for extreme sport. The Petronas Twin Towers were, until recently, the world's tallest buildings, and they're still the world's tallest twin towers. The beautiful glass and steel facade is designed to resemble motifs found in Islamic art, a homage to Malaysia's Muslim religion. Divers jump from the 73rd floor from a height of 300 metres. And large crowds turn up daily to catch sight of the daredevils in the sky. Jumpers leap into a free fall for several seconds to clear the building before deploying their manoeuvrable parachutes towards a ground target. Base jumping is significantly more dangerous than skydiving from a plane because it takes place in close proximity to the structure that provides the jump platform. Because of this level of danger, base jumping was once a secret sport, often executed unannounced and under the cover of darkness. Now it has evolved into a highly technical, cutting-edge modern sport. The tower's sky bridge, an enclosed walkway joining the 41st and 42nd floors 170 metres off the ground, is the perfect place to watch the divers descend around you like so many colourful, oversized butterflies. Kuala Lumpur, affectionately known as KL, enjoys a year-round equatorial climate, warm, sunny and an average of 33 degrees, perfect for divers and spectators alike. The Twin Towers are part of the Golden Triangle, the commercial hub of the city, and offer a distinctive nightlife including clubs and the Chinese night market in Chinatown. KL is also home to Parliament House and the official residence of the Malaysian royal family. So you think you might like to try this extreme sport? Then you better learn what base means. B, you must jump from a building. A means antenna, jumping from a tower like an aerial mast. S stands for span, jumping from a bridge or arch. And E is for earth, a leap from a cliff or other formation. And when you've chalked up all four, you can apply for an official base number. Then you can call yourself a base jumper like over 1,000 registered jumpers. When entering Kuala Lumpur, take the newly completed Smart Tunnel to avoid KL's famous traffic congestion. And when in the city, remember to look up. It might just be raining men. Mount Fuji, Japan's highest mountain and sacred site, painted by awestruck artists for centuries and emanating peace and tranquility for thousands of years. That is, until now. Racing through the serenity at the foot of Mount Fuji is the world's fastest roller coaster. For thrill seekers who have always dreamt of being an astronaut, experiencing the firing thrust of a space shuttle, the aerodynamic vibrations of flight, the 90-degree upward tilt ascent and the heart-stopping fall to Earth, then this experience is for you. They call this monster Dodonpa, which means the sound of a racing heart, because the pounding sound stays with you long after the ride is over. The Japanese love technical innovation, especially when it advances the cause of serious fun. The designers here at Fuji Q Highland Amusement Park wanted to create a ride that felt like a rocket being launched into outer space. Shooting out a tunnel at 172 kilometers an hour means nothing on your person is safe. Bags, hats, glasses have to be surrendered to the seriously safety-conscious staff for safekeeping, along with any doubts you may be having about taking the trip. Young people in Japan study for long hours and are keenly focused on exams and academic achievement. So when it's time for recreation, young Japanese are looking for an experience that takes them worlds away from ordinary life. It took $2.42 million to build it, and you'll pay 800 yen for what amounts to a little over 1 minute of sheer blinding terror. From the pull of a G-force 4.25 times that of the Earth's gravity, then swinging along the near vertical curves, to hurtling up the 52-metre high tower still at speeds close to 120 kilometres an hour, aren't you regretting it yet? Or will it take the sickening free fall down the 90-degree slope? About now, don't you wish you were on the Sweetheart Ferris wheel? Come on, it wasn't that bad. Perhaps we can tempt you to go round again. Then what about going on to spend the night at the haunted house? You can enjoy Fuji Q's unique package of a night of terror, followed by a continental breakfast. Fuji Q Highland Amusement Park is located not too far from Tokyo. You can hire a car and drive from Tokyo, marvelling at the unforgettable sight of Mount Fuji coming into view. If you heard of a monster wave, a freak swell that thunders down the Amazon River, wreaking havoc with everything in its way and terrifying the locals, would you go surf it? That's just what these thrill seekers are set to do. Driving deep into the delta of the Amazon in Brazil's northern Amapá state, these surfers are seeking an exceptional natural spectacle, what the locals call pororoca. The rainforest basin of the Amazon is sparsely settled with damp, moist temperatures around 27 degrees and is home to alligator, anaconda, and the most feared of all, the carnivorous piranha. Piranha will attack humans and anything else in the water. The approaching full moon and its increasing tides cause phenomenal tidal waves hundreds of miles off the coast. When the ocean tides meet the shallow waters of the Araguari River mouth, the force creates the demon waves of pororoca. They'll be riding the longest wave in the world, and it only happens twice a day. It'll take skill, endurance and speed, and that's just to keep ahead of the piranhas. The local indigenous people think they're crazy. They named the wave pororoca, meaning the Great Blast, the Destroyer. The waves can be miles wide, 5 metres high and moving at a rate of up to 50 kilometres an hour. The low, ominous hum of the spectacle can be heard up to 2 hours away. River surfing is a strange new novelty for thrill seekers and is attracting those looking for a new challenge in extreme sports. The recent river surfing competition held here on the Araguari River in the city of Macapa drew competitors from all over seeking to claim a new world record. The river wave differs from the ocean wave in that it has two currents pushing across each other. This creates a form of enormous strength, power and duration. The force is so great, it frequently carries away trees, boats and anything else in its path, and even changes the course of the river itself. If you're loco enough for the pororoca, plan your trip during the full and new moon in late March to take full advantage of the highest tide. The Araguai River flows from the Tamacumac Mountain to the Atlantic Ocean. The inland of southern Norway, where steep mountains plunge into bottomless lakes or widen into endless mountain moors. Here, the most extreme rivers and the highest waterfalls are calling to some of the bravest canoeists in Europe. If base jumping is tempting fate and skydiving is courting disaster, then this is just plain suicidal. There has to be a first descent on every great river. That is, the river must be traversed, charted and rated for a first time. And somebody's got to do it. These experienced canoeists are literally going where no one has gone before. The pros say that the key to successfully planning and running a first descent of a river is commitment, determination, endurance, focus and a little bit of luck. The drops from these waterfalls are rated at the highest level of difficulty for a whitewater kayakist. The world record for the highest drop was over Canada's 106-foot Alexandra Falls. They have chosen this sport because of the combination of water, high risk and great heights. But here in the icy upper reaches of the Tora River, the athletes face a massive challenge. The most extreme river sections and the triple combination of waterfalls. It's only experience that can save you now. These guys train many months of the year to hone their ability to react in the middle of a vortex. But on a first descent of such a vicious river, sometimes experience is not enough. Southern Norway is excellent for winter sports activities. The deep valleys were formed in the Ice Age as the ice and rivers carved their way through the Norwegian mountains. The valleys filled with salt water, becoming the famous fjords, and ice remained on mountaintops, creating the glaciers. The final challenge is to take the first ever kayak run on the Brilvi River at the Nygaardsbreen Glacier. Good luck, guys! Southern Norway is sometimes referred to as the Riviera because of its unspoilt, if chilly, beaches. From there you can follow the canals inland for the not-so-extreme canoeing and boating. And after mastering the mountains and taming the white waters, you might as well conquer the skies. When you come paragliding in India, you'll feel like an extreme sportsman, and yet you'll need no experience at all. Paragliding is a gentle adventure and the easiest way to achieve man's age-old quest for free flight. Here at a popular lake resort in the Kumaon hills of Uttaranchal in India, trained pilots are introducing tourists to the joys of the air. India is the new paragliding destination. The best cliffs and slopes, the low hills, rocky terrain and endless flatlands offer the ideal conditions for the sport. A paraglider is a free-flying, foot-launched aircraft that can reach speeds of up to 65 kilometres an hour. Paragliding relies on two types of flight conditions. One, ridge soaring, where the pilot uses the lift of air running up the length of a ridge feature in the landscape. And two, thermal flying, where the sun has warmed the cliff faces, setting off rising columns of warm thermal air underneath.
Beautiful.
If you stay in one of the resorts in the heavenly Kumaon hills at the foot of the Great Himalaya mountain range, you'll find endless opportunities for adventure travellers. You can ski on the snow-capped mountains one day and then trek uphill through the mind-blowing Himalayas the next. The region still has vast areas of pure wilderness, and in summer, from March to June, with temperatures averaging only 25 degrees, the thermic conditions will keep you in the air for hours. The Kumaon Hills have provided inspiration for some of India's finest writers, and many a masterpiece has been created here in the foothills. Be sure to stay in one of the famous writers' bungalows for a little inspiration of your own. See you next time on Explore.